Good afternoon again. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jonathan Sweet, the Editor-in-Chief of Boating Industry. Today's webinar is Creating a Social Media Strategy. All of you who are attending are in listen-only mode, so you are muted. But if you do have any questions, you'll see right on your GoToWebinar control panel there, you can ask questions, just type them in, and we'll try to answer them when we can. So today's webinar is brought to you by Boating Industry and the Top 100 Leadership Alliance. This is the group of companies that sponsors our Top 100 program and makes it possible for not only those dealers that participate in the program, but also all the dealers who benefit from the knowledge we can gather from those other dealers. The members of the Alliance are GE Capital Commercial Distribution Finance, Manheim Specialty Auctions, Freedom Boat Club, Sunbrella Marine, Brunswick Dealer Advantage, and the Marine Retailers Association of the Americas. So today we're going to be talking about creating and implementing a social media strategy, and we've got a great panel here today to help us with that. First, we'll have Sarah McIntosh of Dominion Marine Media, and she will talk about why it's important to have a strategy and how you create one. Then we're going to hear from two of our top 100 dealers that have successfully used social media to grow their businesses. First will be Abby Hymanson from MarineMax, a member of our Top 100 Hall of Fame. Then we'll have Ryan Hebert and Donna Chance from Texas Marine, another longtime Top 100 dealer. After they speak, we'll have time for a Q&A session with our panelists at the end of the webinar. Again, if you need to submit any questions or have any questions as they are speaking, please submit those throughout the session through the GoToMeeting module. And with that, I'll hand it off to Sarah.
Thank you, Jonathan, for the introduction. Today I'm going to talk about why social media matters and how you can create a successful social media strategy for your business. You can go ahead, Jonathan. So 37 minutes is the average daily amount of time Americans spend on social media. This is higher than any other internet activity, including email. You can go to the next. 46% of online users rely on social media when making purchase decisions. Go ahead. 62% of people are more likely to engage with brands that integrate social content into their digital properties. You can go ahead. And 86% of marketers agree that social media is important for business. And so now here's a look at the number of people who are currently using some of the major social media sites. It's probably no surprise to you that Facebook is the largest and most active social network with 1.28 billion monthly active users. YouTube has grown to become the second largest social media site with 1 billion monthly active users and 4 billion views per day. In just 3 years, Google+ has become the third largest social network with 540 monthly active users. And Twitter continues to grow at a steady rate with 255 million monthly active users. Although Pinterest does not publicly disclose their membership statistics, it's reported that the platform has 70 million registered users. Can you go ahead? If you need more evidence that social media can positively impact your business, here are some additional advantages to consider. Having a strong social media presence can increase exposure to your company and help establish a stronger brand. It can bring more traffic to your website, potentially resulting in more leads and increased sales. It can improve your search ranking and help people to find your business online. And it allows you to develop loyal fans and create an online community to interact with your customers. Hopefully we can all agree now that social media is important, but in order for it to be successful, you also need to develop a strategy. Businesses that use social media strategically are more satisfied with their results than informal users. Further, businesses that use social media as part of a planned corporate approach are 1.5 to 2 times more likely to anticipate revenue growth than informal users. So how do you get started? Jay Baer is the author of Utility. He suggests these 8 steps for creating an effective social media strategy. First, you need to develop a team. Social media impacts all aspects of a business, so it should be a collaborative effort. Observe where your customers and competitors are most active in social media and use that as a guide for your own social strategy. Determine a primary goal that you want to achieve with social media. It's best to stick with one clear goal, especially in the beginning. And determine how you will measure success. You can go to the next one. You need to know your target audience and have a plan for appealing to them. Even though you're posting as a business, your tone should remain as human as possible. Remember that with social media, you're competing for attention not only with other brands, but also with your customers' family and friends. So you don't want to come across as an advertisement. And finally, you need to select the best social platforms for appealing to your audience. This step should come last, and you should have a specific reason for participating in each. The process of creating a social strategy is different for every business, but these steps are a good guide for getting started. Now, here are some fundamental best practices to keep in mind when implementing your strategy. You should try to post regularly to engage and convert browsers to visitors. Aim for at least 3 times a week. You can use a third-party social media management software to help you manage all of your different networks, and I'll get into that more in a couple of slides. Use social advertising. It's cheaper than traditional media, and you can be more targeted and interactive in your approach. Mix sharing with selling. Voting is social, and so is social media. Establish yourself as an authority, the best source for the voting lifestyle. You should test many messaging strategies. Incorporate videos and funny photos whenever you can. You also want to be relevant. Build and target ads by voter interests. Ask for responses to engage with fans. Try yes and no questions and multiple choice questions, and feature caption-less photos to try and interact with your fans. You can ask your fans to send photos that you can then share with your audience. Voters like to see how other voters are spending their time on the water. So if you can show real-life voters, then that's a good perk. Use channels as they're intended. Each social media platform is different and it has its own culture. So that leads me to these platform-specific tips. Facebook is a good platform to start with when you're developing a posting schedule because it has some great tools that you can use to help determine what works best for your business. You can use Facebook Insights to see who is engaging with your page, what times of the day they're most active, and what types of posts are performing best. Engagement will be different for every page, but generally the most engaging posts are short, original, and benefit the person viewing your content. Photos and videos tend to get the best response on Facebook, so be sure to incorporate them into your posting schedule. Once you have a feel for what your fans respond to best, you can then repurpose that content to share on other social platforms. You can also monitor your competitors and other industry leaders with Facebook's new Pages to Watch feature. If you have at least 100 people who like your page, then you can create a list of up to 100 pages to watch. This allows you to track the total number of times these pages post, how many new likes the pages receive, and the amount of engagement they get on a weekly basis. There are 2 million boat searches on YouTube every month, so you want to be sure to optimize your presence to reach those potential customers. Plus, Google owns YouTube, so any relevant information on your YouTube channel will show up in Google search results. Use YouTube as another inventory listing portal. Post your entire inventory on your YouTube channel. Include relevant keywords in the About section of your YouTube channel. Make sure that your video titles and descriptions are keyword relevant to help with SEO. Create weekly playlists to encourage visitors to browse multiple videos. Share your YouTube videos on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and encourage your fans to subscribe to your channel. Add the YouTube app to your Facebook page to increase views to your videos. And consider including linked annotations to your videos. For example, click here for other boats like this. Optimize your Google Plus page to improve visibility and increase your followers. Take advantage of the large photos allowed on Google+ and feature impressive inventory of photos. You can also upload entire photo albums on Google+. Fill out the entire story section, including store info and relevant keywords. This is part of what Google uses to assign authority to your business and rank you higher. Link all your other accounts to your Google+ page, and complete your Google Places page and obtain at least 5 reviews to gain star ratings. Twitter is different than any other social media platform. Tweets are limited to 140 characters so that they can be easily consumed anywhere and anytime. You can tweet more frequently than you post to other social media platforms. Aim to 3 to 5 times a day. Use relevant search keywords in your tweets to enhance SEO. Add photos to your tweets to boost retweets by 35%, and you're now able to add up to 4 photos to a single tweet. Use a link shortener to avoid lengthy URLs and to track clicks from your tweets. Pinterest is a great platform for the boating industry because it's all visual, and boats are undeniably nice to look at. Take advantage of Pinterest's new guided search to help your pins stand out. These new descriptive guides help steer your search in the right direction. So you want to use good pin descriptions to help pinners find your content. Providing value rather than selling. You want to educate your audience. Become a subject matter expert that your customers can trust by pinning the right content, such as helpful boat reviews and how-tos. You can invite other pinners to pin to your boards to increase your following. And take advantage of place pins, which allow you to map out your pins to a specific location. So where do you get all of this content to post to social media? The goal is to provide valuable and engaging boating information from boaters to boaters. This can come in the form of OEM new model information, boating news, how-tos, and newsletters, boating Q&As to be a trusted source, unusual, interesting, and humorous posts, boating lifestyle posts to help spread the passion that all boaters share for the water, and videos of any of the above. All of these can be shared from other sources. And how do you manage it all? You can use a social media posting and monitoring service to make posting and analysis easier. Hootsuite, TweetDeck, and Google Alerts are a couple options. They allow you to put all of your social networks in one place and schedule posts ahead of time. You want to aim to post at least once every 3 days, but do not exceed 2 posts a day so you're not overwhelming your fans. Schedule weekend and evening posts ahead of time, and engage with other industry members to grow your following. And you want to be sure to measure everything to build out what works. So that is all for my section, but I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end.
Great, Sarah, thanks a lot. And we had a couple questions while Sarah was talking about whether this was going to be archived, available afterwards. And yes, the webinar will be archived on the boating industry website, and that should be posted by the end of the week. And you'll be able to find that right under the webinars menu on our website at boatingindustry.com. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Abby. Abby, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, for all of that great information, because I know I was making notes during that as well, so looking forward to implementing some of the things that I just learned. So I'll get started here and tell you a little bit about what we're doing at MarineMax for our social media strategy. And I can't tell you enough how important it really is to have your media strategy and goals planned out before you dive in. And I know those are some of the top 8 steps there that Sarah told us about, and I would agree with her 100% in saying that making sure we had the team, the right people in place to implement our strategy was first and foremost what we had to do, and make sure we had enough people to make sure that we could implement our strategies. And as you all know, sometimes social media can sometimes be put off to the side, and we think about, oh, it's just Facebook and we'll get to that later. And that's actually quite the opposite of what we need to do. So we knew that we needed full-time focus on our social media strategy. So In December of 2013, we started putting more emphasis on this as a company, and we knew that we needed to set some goals. So we wanted to broaden our awareness in the boating community. We wanted to be top of mind with boaters when they had a need or a want. We wanted to influence purchase and loyalty and become likable, and we wanted to gain insights into what those boaters wanted. And we also knew that we had to include the stores, our 55 locations throughout the United States, in this reapproach for the corporate strategy for MarineMax. And if you want to move on to our next slide there, great. So what we decided to do is we looked at it and we said, what can we do to make this easier on our customers? Social media and Facebook specifically is very user-driven, very content-driven, and so how could we make this more user-friendly for our fans? So we looked at our store strategy and we said that we need to have a local Facebook account for every one of our stores in the United States. Now, some of those stores we did combine together to be regionally, but the majority of our stores have their own Facebook page. So that right there was a strategy in itself, that how are we going to manage 40-plus, 50-plus Facebook pages throughout the United States with different time zones and different content needs, and that's where we knew we had to rely on the stores to help us provide our customer photos, getaway trip reports, all kinds of great things from their events, what's happening for new models that are showing up in their showrooms, and start creating that personal relationship with the customers on a localized basis. Now, as far as our national strategy, we put together 4 lifestyle pages that we could focus on those specific lifestyles, which were fishing, yachting, water sports, and leisure boating. And the custom content creation that we did for each of those lifestyle pages was a big success because it was targeted to reach those specific boaters and specific prospective boaters that needed to know more about what they wanted to do when they got out on the water. They needed to learn a little bit more about what the fishing lifestyle would be and what those boat models and what those boat brands were for that particular lifestyle that they chose. So we found this to be a really good strategy moving forward to customize that for our fans. So I wanted to share with you some of our social media metrics from December after we made these changes and made these refocused strategy goals. So in December of 2013, all of our Facebook pages together, we had 36,000 fans, about 36,400 fans. We refocused. We started utilizing the Facebook ads. We started targeting our content. We started having localized conversations, and we started doing community outreach and community partnerships. As one of the things Sarah had mentioned, we started tagging community partners in our posts, talking about what the local Chamber of Commerce was doing, talking about what a local charity was doing over the weekend. And we grew our fan base by almost 20,000 people from December to July by making those few changes. In December of 2013, we had 1,700 followers on our Twitter account. In July, we now have 2,479. And again, our strategy there was building our follower relationship. We were giving new followers a thank you shout out on Twitter, thanking them for following us, re-tagging them back, so giving them some sponsorship as well in that particular tweet. We also started following our followers back. It seems very simple, and it was a thing that we hadn't thought of in the past, that we were just worried about gaining followers and moving forward quickly. And once we started following our followers, then we started seeing our fan base grow as well on Twitter. So again, building that follower relationship, doing the retweets, and targeting our tweets was very important. In December of 2013, for our Instagram account, we had 270 followers. We have now gained over 277 followers, and we're up to almost 550 followers on our Instagram account. Now, we knew that Instagram was a new place for us because that's not necessarily the demographic of your typical boater. Instagram is an 18 to 35 demographic, but we knew that families make a lot of decisions when you're driving and deciding on boats, and the families are driving that purchase decision. So we knew that we needed to step up and get into the Instagram game, but we also knew that we had to be on there with relevant content. And one of the most relevant pieces of content that we have found on Instagram is our water sports information, talking about the latest things with wakeboarding, the latest in our wakeboarding brands, and that really has driven a lot of it. Also, a lot of great photos of new models, the new luxury yachts, has really been helpful for us in our Instagram world. So moving on to our social media metrics on YouTube, and again, as Sarah mentioned, this is an excellent place that if you are not on YouTube yet, this is the next place to be, most definitely. And we cannot rave enough about what has happened since we started focusing on our YouTube account. And we've put, I have to admit, we've put minimal effort into this as far as expenditures. We've kept our costs down for what we've been doing for sponsoring our videos on YouTube. And what we have found is that the best videos are our boat walkthroughs. We have excellent views on our boat walkthroughs. And we've kept them very simple. We've asked our sales team, and again, engaging our sales team throughout the United States, we ask them to go out to the particular boat. They use an iPhone. They take a walkthrough video, one-time walkthrough. We don't expect them to do any editing. We don't expect them to be having to go back to their computer and now start downloading into all kinds of programs and make this a Hollywood production. We ask them to keep it, 30 seconds to a minute to maximum of 2 minutes of the boat walkthrough. And as you can see on my slide here, our lifetime views, so we have over 1 million views of lifetime views. We have 647 subscribers. And as many of you know, it is actually quite hard to retain people as subscribers on your YouTube page because people do have a limit of how many places they can be subscribed to. So we're very excited that we're up to 647 subscribers. Just in 2014 alone, we have 130,000 views. And since we started using the annotations that Sarah mentioned before, this is where you actually put a link in the video that says something similar to find more Sea Rays here or check out this boat on MarineMax.com. We've had 723 click-throughs specifically because of that annotation, and that's just since April 1st. So we're very excited about that. And then we've actually had an increase of our minutes watched since January 1st, a 50% increase of over 100,000 gained. And we do target that right back to the walkthroughs and those annotations. That's been very successful for us. So I wanted to mention a couple outstanding examples that our stores did, and as I mentioned earlier in my program here, is that we do ask our stores to take ownership of their Facebook page. So we kind of call it the 3 E's here at Team Support, and we empower our team. We ask them to post their events, and we ask them to use some advertising which is very economical for them. So empower, events, and economical. This is a very easy way for them to get to their fans and get to their customer base. So I wanted to mention that our MarineMax Daytona store is hosting Aquapalooza again this year. And in working with local organizations, restaurants, and different distributors throughout the Daytona area, they're able to promote their Aquapalooza very successfully. And they are now up to being the 3rd largest lead generator on MarineMax.com because of what they've been doing on Facebook. So this one event in Daytona, Florida, made Facebook the 3rd largest generator of leads to our website. So that's something to think about, and that's a big, big thing when you consider organic, Google, all those different traffic makers and drivers to our website. This particular event made Facebook our 3rd largest lead generator. Now, the other one I want to talk to you about is our MarineMax Pensacola contest, and this is to promote a boat show, and they launched the sweepstakes for the Ultimate Water Sports Package giveaway, and it was a $1,500 prize package, most of which they got donated from their vendors. So again, when I talked about the 3 E's, this was a very economical way for them to get out to their fans and push that they were going to be at the boat show. The contest ran for 2 weeks. It resulted in over 1,200 entries, which were new leads that the store were able to put into our CRM system and follow up on during and after the boat show. And their page ended up receiving over 1,000 new page likes. So again, sharing the incentive, and through the app that they use, the Fangate app was what we used for their contest, that only cost less than $100 on the spend to put this on the Facebook. So we were very excited of those two examples because they were very economical. They promoted boat shows, they promoted specific events, and we empowered our local team to get involved in their Facebook strategy and their social media strategy. So as we continue to grow our stores and the social media support, we want to continue to reach our customers how they want to be reached. And we do know that we have to be continually monitoring what the next thing is going to be within social media and marketing and media in general. So at this time, we know that Facebook is a big strategy for us, and we have 55 of those throughout the United States. We know that Twitter is a big strategy for us, and we only have one Twitter account. So that is our national voice for MarineMax on social media. That's the one place that we have one voice. And then we do know that Instagram is very, very important to us, especially for that younger demographic, that 18 to 35. And our next strategies, of course, are stepping into Google Plus and making sure that that's working for us and making sure it's working for our demographic and for our customers. But we are focusing on those top three because that's where our customers are and that's where they're wanting to be talked to. And we're going to continue to focus on the relationships that we have with our customers and growing our social presence. So thank you.
All right, great. Abby, thank you. Some great information there. And I'm going to go ahead and hand off to our next two panelists, Ryan and Donna from Texas Marine.
Thank you, Jonathan. This is Ryan Hebert from Texas Marine. We are a 3-location dealership here in the Houston, Texas market. I help handle a lot of duties around here, one of which includes our social media campaigns. And we started off from a standpoint from 4 or 5 years ago, not having any social media campaign or operations, to now having a very successful campaign, especially in regards to Facebook. So Jonathan had asked us to speak a little bit about the specific success we have had recently with our Facebook campaign. We've done 2 things here that, as an overall strategy, that have really helped move the needle from the beginning. One was we brought on board Lighthouse Media Solutions, which is a prominent advertising firm in the marine industry and RV industry who has had some experience with that, and they help manage our Facebook account, helping to make posts and plan posts and create monthly calendars. The second thing that we did was realizing that content is king when it comes to social media and other aspects of your internet advertising. We decided to create a blog. And in fact, at that time, we hired Donna Chance, who is on the call with us, as our blog writer. And realizing that content, whether you're trying to put original content on your website or on a blog or on Facebook or Twitter, that original content has such a huge impact on so many aspects of your marketing, from your number of likes on Facebook to your rankings and positionings on search engines, so on and so forth. So bringing in Donna, who was a local writer here in our area, really didn't even have any experience in the marine industry, but had writing experience. And we know there have been other dealerships and other retailers who have brought on writers in some form or fashion, and can do it in many ways. Can bring them on as on a contract basis, or as a part-time position or full-time position. But having somebody who is able to put their talents to work on writing and creating articles and original content really helps move the needle. So since this webinar is focusing on social media and our presentation is focusing on Facebook, I don't have any screenshots, but we do have a blog and you can go to texasmarine.com, and on the homepage we have a blog button down towards the bottom that takes you to our blog if you want to take a look, and shows an example of all of the blog posts that Donna puts on, and we try to keep it to one post every day, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but kind of averaging out to one post a day. And when you look at our Facebook success, we've been able to go from a few thousand likes a few years ago, moving the needle all the way to over 10,000 likes now. In fact, I believe presently we have over 12,000 likes. This slide here shows the time we reached our 10,000 like mark, which for a single retailer in a single market, we found is a very high number. From what unofficial numbers we've been able to see throughout the industry, most retailers seem to average somewhere between a few hundred and on the low end to a few thousand likes on the high end. So knowing we've had some success growing that number and that presence, we've identified a few of the steps we've taken that have really helped to move that needle. One of which, if you go to the next slide, Jonathan, making those posts on Facebook, as Sarah alluded to, putting the content on there, averaging between 2 and 3 posts per week. We have Lighthouse Media Solutions, who helps create our calendar, so we know what's going to be posted throughout the month and on which days. But then also we're able to take content from our blog and use it in conjunction with Facebook. The blog and Facebook kind of seem to be able to go hand in hand together. So we can take content from the blog and transfer it right over and post it on Facebook, and you have instant content. And in this slide is an example of some of the content that we post from our blog onto Facebook, ranging from little pieces on some of our employees to little interest pieces on different fish and fisheries in the region, tying knots, just anything that is really related to boating or fishing, or even sometimes just related to the outdoors or the state of Texas or Louisiana, our region. A lot of that becomes popular. What we, going to the next slide, have also realized is that a lot of people, you don't realize you get out of Facebook what you put into it. And sometimes that means financially. The analogy I think of it is as a billboard you would have on the side of the road. You have to purchase a billboard to get viewership. Well, Facebook's kind of become that way in a way. Used to be in the old days, you could just put on your content on Facebook and see who all is going to look at it. Well, we found through the help from Lighthouse that when you put a post on there, sometimes you have to get that post promoted to be able to get the results and the views that you want to get from that post. In fact, this slide shows half of that equation. We put a post on here. This is an example of a post we put on with a funny little picture, how I feel when I can't go fishing. This is how I feel all the time, being in the boat business. So you'll see at the bottom it says 3,106 people reached, and that is an unpromoted post that we put on there. It was from our blog that got put over onto Facebook. When you go to the next slide, you'll see a different post that we had promoted, and it reached almost 50,000 people, just that one post. It's something, the way it works is you, through Facebook, you have a certain budget you put into it, and with that budget, you can promote certain posts so that you get more viewership from that post. And you can set that budget to however much you want. And it does not have to be a significant budget. It's a pretty small percentage of our advertising budget is put towards just Facebook. But as you can see, it can have a very large impact. And it's real neat to see whenever you have certain posts, and you'll kind of learn which posts and what kind of content becomes real popular. And when you combine popular content with these promoted posts, you can get a lot of numbers. And this is when, sure, we have over 10,000 likes, and that is important, and that's how many people are following us and are part of the Texas Marine community, but you can extend your reach well beyond that through these promoted posts. Going to the next page, you'll see that one strategy we implemented was taking our Facebook page and promoting it to our database, which we have, of course, through our CRM tools, and over the years have accumulated a large database of contacts, and we use that to promote our Facebook page to. This is an example of one we did years ago, where we would send an email to our database informing people that we're on Facebook, and having a link on there that people can click, and when they click on that link, it takes them to our Facebook page, and then we tell them, if you become a fan or like us, then you'll receive a gift card. Or you can do anything you want with this, giving away any small items or a chance to win something, or however you devise your strategy, but just putting your Facebook page in front of people is key to getting people to like it. There's a lot of people out there that are on Facebook and would like your page if they knew it was there. So this is a way to show them that. In fact, you'll see we to make sure it doesn't get out of hand, we offer it to the first 50 fans, and I'll tell you, when we did this, it didn't take long to get to those 50 fans. Going to the next slide is one of our other strategies we use on content is contests. Much like Abby was talking about, MarineMax does in different forms. We have periodic contests that we put on. In fact, this is an example of a small contest. It's called a Quick Draw Challenge, and again, this is something that Lighthouse Media Solutions helped us devise, which is a monthly contest that we offer a $50 gift card to the first person who responds to some question. And that question can be just about anything. In fact, you'll notice on this one, it's just asking about the governor of Texas. It's just a question about our local state. Doesn't even have anything to do with boating or fishing. As you can see, it got a lot of responses, but the person who gets the first one, we send a gift card to. Just create some buzz and interest, and that way you always have something going on that's interesting and people feel is engaging. And we've been doing that for years and have had a lot of success with that. Another thing, going to the next slide, is really just an example of how you can have fun with a Facebook page. Seeing the picture we talked about earlier with the dog, and then some other pictures that we put on, and we sprinkle these fun pictures all throughout the Facebook page time and time again. And people really respond to the fact. I think Sarah had a bullet point on her slide earlier that you don't always just want to barrage people with advertising or product information. Just throwing some fun stuff on there always gets people sharing it around, and gets you a lot of exposure, and people come around. So it's important just to have fun with the content, and you'll generate that activity. And so this is generally how we approach our Facebook operations each day, is throwing on some posts, some of which Lighthouse creates and some of which we create, and then also use through our blog. In fact, we've found that the blog operation can really bolster your Facebook numbers. We advertise our blog on other sites. We get other third-party websites to advertise our blog, and when people go to our blog, it's also connected to Facebook operations. So it all kind of becomes one thing, and you can capture people, contacts, through the blog or through Facebook, and then you have those people you can advertise both with. So it's if anybody that hasn't done that yet, I highly suggest looking at possibly getting that ability to throw some daily content both on their website through a blog and on Facebook, on a daily or semi-daily basis. It pays off in the end.
I add something?
Sure.
When we do the Facebook and when we do the blogs, we try to think what adds value to the user. without spending a lot, but what would help them out. So on the posts and the blogs I write, I try to add value to the users, so they're going to click on that content. And also, when you can get a post shared, and these posters do really well as far as sharing, you're getting free advertising space on individuals' Facebook pages, which is invaluable because they come back to your page and it adds to your likes on your page. And so pretty much these posters and the blogs, the original content, if they're valuable, a lot of likes on the page.
That's a good point. It shows the snowball effect of it. When you put get one like and you put a post on there, and someone who's a fan of your page sees that post and sends it to other friends, and it all goes around, and you end up getting more likes from those people. It starts to go fast. In fact, Don and I were talking about the other day how it took a long time to get to that first few thousand likes, but after that point, it seems to grow exponentially. As more and more people are sending your link and your posts around, you start getting people faster. So it might take a year to go from 3,000 to 6,000, and then only a few months to go from 6,000 to 10,000, and then only a month to go from 10,000 to 12, 13,000. So it all goes fast. The more you do it, and the more you pay attention to it, and the more you do on it, just the more you get out of it over time.
And the one other thing we do is we try to submit the blog to other web pages that find it interesting and use it as content on their site, and they promote Texas Marine Blog free, so that we're getting more users coming back to our page, our Facebook page.
The more you're able to partner with other websites and other companies, the more exposure you'll get to your page, and the more likes you'll get, and the more fans through those other sites. Very good point. And that is everything we have today.
Well, great, Ryan. Thanks a lot for your time, and Donna as well. We have some time now. We're going to go take questions from the audience. Again, you can submit those questions right there on your screen through the GoToMeeting module. And go ahead and submit your questions. We have some already in, and then I will go ahead and share them with our panel. All right, our first question here. Is there any data to show that people with the financial means to afford boats, for example, an older clientele, are using social media? Would any of our panelists like to answer that one from our audience?
I can go ahead and speak to that. I don't have any hard numbers in front of me, but I think that we are seeing the trend that older people are taking to social media, especially Facebook. And there's been a little bit of worry that the younger generations are moving on to the latest and greatest social networks. But that might not be a bad thing for us, since our target audience is a little bit older. So I think that there's a whole new opportunity there.
And I can say on Facebook they have analytics, and it breaks down the demographics, and a lot of times I see on there that it's older. It's the older generation on there watching our page, and a lot of times it's male.
We also do a lot of research online with portals such as HubSpot and different areas like that. So they do a lot of research for you and have a lot of great analytics, very similar to what they have on Facebook, Donna. That's a great point. So we do watch there as well, because they do show what the demographics of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's actually where I got the details I was talking about with the demographic for Instagram being that 18 to 35. So we do pay a lot of attention to what HubSpot is putting out. That's a great place for you to get information.
And it's probably worth mentioning too, this is Jonathan, but the Pew Research Center does a study every year on social media usage as well that has some interesting demographics, and that's easy enough to find. Just Google Pew Center, it's P-E-W, and you'll find their social media research. Our next question here is, we have someone who's wondering, how would you recommend running a like campaign on Facebook?
how to run a like campaign?
Yes. Assume they made a campaign to get more likes for your page.
Well, we've actually run campaigns to our database, as we were talking about, and to customers to get likes, and that's just as simple as sending an email that has a link that people can click. Furthermore, through Facebook, whoever administers your Facebook page can use part of your budget to advertise to people of certain criteria you're looking for, certain demographics and certain interest levels and certain likes. So part of the portion of the budget we put through Facebook, the part that doesn't go to promoting individual posts goes to advertising our page to people who are on Facebook and who like, say, here in a certain geographic region, who like have certain interests, things that they have liked on their Facebook page, such as outdoors or guns or fishing, things like this, so that we're reaching our target demographic, and then you can have that ad say whatever you want, just promoting your page, so that they click on that, they become a fan, or they like your page. And that's a good way to reach people on Facebook who are not people who you are in your database or contacts you already have.
And
I would agree with Ryan.
We agree, Ryan.
We agree. Good job. Yeah, I think that the more specific you can be in your targeting, the better off you're going to be and the more successful your campaign can be. So if you want to target a specific location, then you can do that. You can target an age group, 18 and up, or any age group that you'd like to target. You can target specific interests, boating, sailing, fishing, and then you can target friends of people who like your page. So that's another option.
I would also want to just add to that is that as important as it is to have fans on your page, you want to make sure that if you have 100 fans or if you have 500,000 fans, that you actually engage with them, and that is really important. So you want to make sure to take advantage of your Facebook analytics and see how engaged your fan base is, because if you have 1,000 fans, which is nothing to laugh at, but if you have 1,000 fans and they are completely engaged, you are 100% ahead of somebody that may have 10,000, 15,000 fans, and they're not engaged. They're not clicking on the pictures. They're not clicking on links. They're not looking at what you're posting. So even though likes is very important because you want to get as many eyes on your content as possible, the engagement level is almost more important because you want to make sure that they are interested in what you're posting.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And we've got a follow-up to that question about you running a like campaign. So for you guys, when you run those things, what is the retention rate for those likes after the contest on Facebook? Are those people continue to like and follow your posts?
We don't find that we get many people who drop out or leave as a fan of the page or a like, if that's what it's pertaining to. Anybody that ends up coming in that we get that likes our page stays there. Our numbers keep going up, and a lot of them become active, as she was alluding to. You know, people who do put posts on there and respond to posts and all of that. So the retention rate is very high.
And when I put a post on there, sometimes it'll hit 300 viewers in an hour, so we'll know that's going to be a popular post. But I'll see regulars that we post something, they're jumping on it. So we do retain a lot of people and that highly engage on the page regularly.
Sure.
Yeah, our unsubscribe rate is very, very low. It's to the point where we barely have to track it.
Well, that's good to hear.
I will say, as a follow-up, we may not lose people, but one thing to watch out for is sometimes you do get a detractor or two. And so you do have to be diligent to make sure that, because as people are free to post on your page, the good thing is that as it's your page, you're free to remove most of those posts. But if you do get a detractor on there, to make sure you're aware of it so you can handle that, whether it's removing that post or getting with that customer or detractor, And that's one thing that Lighthouse helps us out a lot with is watching that, because when you do have a lot of activity on your page, you got to make sure it's good activity.
Definitely. Another question here from a listener. They are wondering, how are you tracking Facebook traffic to sales?
I'll tell you, here at Texas Marine, we a time ago we used to tie a lot of our Facebook activity to our CRM tool. So if we had a promotion, we would post on Facebook, which we do rarer and rarer these days. It would be tied to a link that would go to, we would offer something that if they click on the link, it would take them to our lead input page, and whenever they submitted a lead through that, we use Footsteps as our CRM, it would show that the source was Facebook. That way we know if we receive a lead based on that promotion that was posted on Facebook only, we know we're receiving a lead from Facebook only. And then we can, through our CRM tool, track where that customer, if that customer ends up purchasing or not. However, I will say that we have tried to keep any promotions and product to a minimum on Facebook. So, of course, the goal is always to monetize and see what the monetary effect is from Facebook, but keep in mind that a large portion of the benefit from Facebook is the community, the word of mouth, the grassroots communication you get with people. So I would advise not to focus too heavily on following the money, as it were.
And we've done the same thing, Ryan, as far as tracking it in our CRM system, and we use a Microsoft CRM. What we have made a point of doing since the change in focus in December is that we make sure that we have a link to our website in the majority of our posts, even though we are keeping it very non-salesy. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a great point, is that we do try to keep it light and we try to keep it to the content that our fans are looking for. But we do make sure that we have tracking links. We use Bitly and to shrink our tracking links. But we do make sure that we do have tracking so that our analytics team can go back to CRM and find out the information, like I shared before about the Aquapalooza, the Daytona Aquapalooza, that we knew that those were coming from Facebook. And we can eventually track down the line if those people put in a event registration lead on MarineMax.com and they buy a boat in 3 weeks, we do have that activity associated with that customer in our CRM. So that's where it does certainly help our team put 2 and 2 together and see what the ROI is for social media.
One of our listeners pointed out that LinkedIn was not mentioned in the presentation, and they're curious if you see that as a valuable social network resource, or should they focus on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter first?
I think there's definitely some value in LinkedIn. I didn't leave it out because there's not. I just left it out because it was such a short presentation that I thought we could better focus our attention on some of the other platforms. But LinkedIn is definitely important, and it's definitely more of a professional networking site. How we like to use it is we have companies. We have Boat Trader, Yacht World, and Boats.com set up as a company on LinkedIn, and then we'll start conversations and try to encourage our followers to answer questions or post their own content. It's more of a forum than just pushing all this content out. We really want to try to get them to engage with us and have a discussion.
We use LinkedIn quite a bit, and I would resound with what Sarah said there, is that we just had a short time of presentation today and wanted to talk about the big players, so to speak. But we use our LinkedIn account for recruiting. Our HR department and our stores use it very much for getting new sales consultants, managers, different team members, and that's been very successful for us. We also use it as a very distinct business platform. We share a lot of information about what's happening within MarineMax. Since we are a publicly traded company, we always post our press releases there. We always keep it, that's a great place for us to share what's happening within our company with the business community.
All right. We had a question that, for the most part, Ryan, appears to have been directed to you guys at Texas Marine, but they're wondering on average how much you spend on promoting a post on Facebook.
Donna, have you seen the individual post numbers?
Dollar-wise, I have not.
Okay. I want to say that we put about $200 to $300 a month towards Facebook budget in general, which is split between the advertisements and the post promotions. So I want to say it's 50-50. So only being $150 to $200 a month for post promotions. And I can't remember, again, Lighthouse being the entity that really manages the account and places the budget. I don't know what it comes to per post, but as you can see, it's a small amount as a monthly expense.
Okay. Earlier we talked about, you think it might have been Ryan who mentioned it, that you've got to watch out. You might have some detractors or people who aren't fans on your Facebook page. So one of our listeners asked, when do you remove a detractor? Recognizing that it's a good response is best if you can handle it that way, but of course at some point you may need to remove them and their posts and block them from the page. How do you make that decision?
First of all, you have to act fast when you do have a detractor, and of course you have all kinds of detractors, and you never know if it's someone who's has a legitimate problem or just someone who's out causing a ruckus. So we typically immediately we will remove the post so that while we're planning how to deal with it, it's not just sitting there being viewed by other people. And then we reach out to the customer and or whoever it is that is the detractor, get to the bottom of the issue, and if it is something that can be resolved or explained, we will either put the post back on with maybe even an update from that person as to the favorable outcome, or we will just leave it off and not bring it up anymore on the postings.
I believe, Sarah, I think it was you who mentioned this, maybe Abby as well, talking about targeted tweets, and one of our listeners would like to know a little bit more about what you meant by that.
Do you want to start off, Abby?
Oh, certainly. What we meant is that we make sure that when we are tweeting out to our fans and tweeting out to about what's going on, is that we target the information within the tweet, and we make sure that it has a picture. As we can have up to 4 pictures. We make sure it has a link in it, and again, we can shrink those links. But what we do is within that tweet, we make sure that we also capture the businesses that we're talking about. So we make sure that if we're talking about a Sea Ray boat, that we make sure that we tag Sea Ray in our posts. And then we also are looking at targeting our tweets by doing some sponsored tweet advertising. And again, it's very similar to what you can do with Facebook, is that you can actually choose where those tweets show up and where they're sponsored.
And then just to take that one step further, those are all great points, adding photos and links and tagging users. Those will help your reach on Twitter. We also try to include relevant keywords. So boating, boats for sale, sailboats, powerboats, whatever you've found for your brand are to be relevant keywords. We'll try to include those in our tweets as well, and sometimes in the form of hashtags, sometimes just in a sentence.
And we are utilizing our hashtags a lot too, and that's a great point. That if you'll see a lot of the times, we are using our new tagline, United by Water, hashtag United by Water, and really making sure that when people are retweeting or doing anything around our followers, if they're doing anything around MarineMax or a MarineMax event, that we are seeing that they are using our hashtag as well. So that's a great search purpose on Twitter, is that when you look at United by Water, we are one of the main companies that come up now with our followers tweeting that hashtag.
Great. We are just about out of time. We do have a lot of questions we weren't able to get to today from the audience. So what we'll try to do is take some of those questions and get them answered for you, and we'll post those on our website with the archived webinar so you can at least read answers to some of your questions. And again, you'll be able to read that archived or watch that archived webinar, share it with your colleagues and whoever else you'd like to, and again, hopefully see some of the answers to those questions we weren't able to get to. And that'll be at votingindustry.com/webinars. And that should be posted by the end of the week. The answers to the questions may take us a little longer as I get together with the panelists to talk about this. But that is about it. We're about out of time for today. And on behalf of Voting Industry and the Top 100 Leadership Alliance, thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you to our panel for some great insights on how to best use social media in your business. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.